on Blueprint Bootcamp, things are going to get a little scary because we got a lot of dimensions and not a lot of things to base them off of, so stay tuned. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about BB number 3, which is our ghost, and so this is where things get kind of scary. Let's switch over to our other view, and you'll see that I gave you a lot of dimensions, and it's kind of hard to see where the origin is, and I'm trying to make these Blueprint boot camps a little more tough so you guys have some stuff to try and play with. I do have the answer, and I think you guys giving them to me in the comments is kind of cool, seeing you guys practice. I've been using these for sub days. I've been out quite a bit these last couple of days with different things, and these are going to be fun for you guys to do. So I know some of you teachers that are going to nationals, this will be a good one for this Halloween week to come. So if we take a look, some game plan. First off, what I did is I started with this circle as my origin, and then I started basing stuff off of there. So we know that there's some circles down here, so we're going to deal with some patterns today. We're going to use ellipses. I know that's not a tool that people use too often, so they're kind of cool. And some kind of different ways to show how to actually get this dimension when you go to make a drawing. So you'll see here how I have these dots. I'm going to have to do that on my print so we can see it if we actually go to make a print. But I'll go ahead and switch to this view right here for you. If you want to take a screenshot, and we will jump right into it. Alrighty, if you take a look, we are in our Onshape document now, and what we need to do is go ahead and start a sketch. So we'll click on the front plane, press Shift and S to start that sketch, N to normalize, and P to hide those planes. So after we have that, I would like to draw a circle off my origin, and I'm going to make that, if we look at our print, it says 3 for the radius, so we need to make this 6 for the diameter. If you're the type that likes to type everything in, again, you can type 3, use the star, and then 2, that's 3 times 2, and you'll get it shown as a function right here to show you that it's 6, but it's because there's some algebra being used there. Okay. After that, I'm going to draw from my side. I'm going to go down from my center a construction line because I want to get the bottom of this ghost made. And so from my center to the center of that circle, the center of my bottom circle, it's 4 inches. And then I'm going to draw a circle here that is a radius of 0.375. So again, times 2 will give me that circle at 0.75, or 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So I have my 1, and if we look back over at our print, you will see, let me go here, we now have this circle drawn, and we have a center line, construction line, that brings us down here 4 inches to the center of this circle here. If we look, we have 7 of these at 0.375. But what we're going to do is do some mirroring and some patterning. So first off, we're going to need to pattern that circle to the right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And if you see, it's the same on either side. They are spaced 1 inch apart. So if we jump back in to our part studio, I'm going to select linear pattern, and I am going to select my circle. I'm going to click each one and say, click that 3x and say times 4, and it defaults at 1, so I can just move my mouse to the side, accept that as is, and now we are good to go. Okay, I'm going to move some of this geometry out of the way, some of these things. If we look back, now we have this all of these humps, the 0.375. Next we need to do is draw these arcs here. So it has a radius of 0.403, but we're going to kind of type that in afterwards. So radius of 0.403, but notice that they're tangent to one another. So we're going to go back into our Part Studio, and I'm just going to draw a circle, and I'm going to let it touch one of them, tangent, and then I'm going to tangent this one over here, and I'm going to come in with a dimension, and like we said, it was 0.403, so times 2, just to double check. Yep, 0.403, because I gave you that radius measurement, so times 2, you will see there, like so, 0.403 times 2 gives us 0.806. And now it might be tempting to use the linear pattern tool here as well, and it lines up perfect and it's great. However, later on when we go to trim, you're getting rid of some geometry. So what I like to do, not contact support, what I like to do is just draw some circles, but kind of set it up in a way to where it's going to help us. So if I'm going to track from this center point right here, and I'm going to go out, because all of these circles need to align with one another. So we're going to go, I'll tangent that one again, and I'm only going to do it one time. So now we'll do this center over here. We'll track, retract, retract. Same thing, tangent here. And instead of tangenting both, and I don't want to over constrain this thing, what I'm going to do is just press the equals command and drag a selection window across all three and make sure all three of those equal one another. And now we're good to go there. So next step is going to be to trim. So I'm going to come through and get rid of what I don't need. I can just draw a line straight across. I don't need any of those circles, and I don't need that. We'll zoom in here. I don't need that one. I don't need that, and I don't need that. Now we are going to have to clean this up a little bit later, but we're going to need to mirror some stuff over first. So there is our kind of the bottom of the ghost up into here. Next thing we're going to do, if we switch back into our print, is I have a radius here, but I have a line that comes down from the center of my circle, 2.25, and then I start an arc. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that line. We'll track from the origin here out to the center of my circle, or to the corner of my circle. I'm going to go down, and I'm going to tell it 2.25. I'm going to escape to drop that tool. And now I'm just going to draw a big circle. I'm going to tell it that it needs to tangent here, but that the tip of this line right here that we just drew, the tip of that 2.25 and this need to coincide with one another to where it's tangential, but then it crosses through that point right there. So tangent relationship, a coincide relationship up here. Next I'm gonna check my print again, and just to make sure, I need a radius of 0.3896. So if I dimension this one, dimension here, 3.896, and I'm just going to double check that. 3.896 is not the correct answer, but 3.896 again times 2 gives us what we need, and then we can come through and trim off that excess. So we now have a diameter of 7.792, and that's what we're looking for right there. So that is that side done. Now our next step is to mirror this guy over, and it's going to ask us, if we look up here, to select a mirror line. We're going to use that line that we created, that center line, and then we're just going to come and create a selection, and we will select everything up to there, fold that over, bring that line over as well, and we have our pretty much done ghost shape. what I should have done first was trim this piece and trim this piece. That way I didn't have to do it twice. I could have just trimmed it once, get all that guy out of there. Now, one thing to know that is if I delete this, right now I'm all black, I'm fully defined, but if I come in and I delete this line, you'll see it goes blue. So if I take that line and I just make it a construction line, now we're still fully defined, but I'm not losing any of my geometry. It's still all going to be there. So without me having to go back in and give it a measurement. So next thing we're going to do, let's clean up here and here. I was doing this earlier, and sometimes when I did that trim, this got deleted, like the measurement for it. So if you needed to just draw, again, a circle, that's probably not too hard at this point, or you could even do a 3-point arc touching from here, and then telling it a radius of 3. But mine, might be because it's updating or it's slower internet connection, but either way, it was kind of messing up earlier. So if you run into that problem, just know that that's one of the issues that could happen. Okay. Next, if we switch back into our print, we got to draw the eyes and the mouth. So far, pretty easy, pretty straightforward, but things can get pretty tripped up. So we're going to draw this ellipse, and if we look, the center of that ellipse is 1.5 down on my center line, and it is 1.5 wide by 0.6 tall. So we are going to do that. An ellipse doesn't have a shortcut key, so if you come up here with me to the top, it lives under the circle drop down. We'll come down here, and I'm going to touch my line, and I'm just going to go out and up. Tell it again, 1.5 wide by 0.6 tall. Switch to D for dimension and go to the center right here and tell it 1.5 away from the center of that circle. So we get the spacing that we need. Switch back into our print again. Now this time we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go 0.7 wide by 1.25 tall, and that also needs to be 1.25 away from my center line here. So we'll go back Part Studio. Another ellipse. We're going to track out from here. Go like so. 1.25 tall. We'll zoom in on that for you. By 0.75 wide. D for dimension. And that needs to be 1.25 away. Okay. Afterwards, obviously I could draw that ellipse again, but it's the same and it's equal spacing over that mirror line, so we can do what we need to do there. Afterwards, we go ahead and click that green check mark, and that is our finished ghost. So you will have an area calculation you'll need to find out. How do you find that? First off, I'm going to try to change some dimensions so these don't break. We'll go 0.75. And let's make that 1.5. Just kind of changing things up a little bit. This might be the one that breaks it. 3.5. Yeah, that that's where it messes up. So how do you find that? Once you're done, this is what I'm looking for. So just select the shape of the ghost, no mouth, no eyes, and you'll get a number down in the bottom right corner. Kind of, you see my kind of exists over here. I have it hidden right now because I don't want you guys to see the answer. And obviously I can't show you my face if I'm in the way. I haven't really quite figured out where I want to put the face cam. Part of me's thinking over to the side. Maybe I'll make a new layout, but that is how you do that. And hopefully you guys got it figured out. You followed along. I will post, or you guys comment the answer in the comments. It is in square inches. There's no materials or anything you need to add. It's just a 2D drawing. All the dimensions are going to be in inches. And we have this here. So if you guys are out this week for Halloween, or you're going to national convention, some of you ag teachers out there, you can use this as a real quick sub day. You guys in my classes just know we're going to be doing this week. And I think I like it because it's a lot of not very nice measurements, and I gave it to you all in radii, and it's kind of a messy print. And you know, in the real world, you often get not the best drawings in the world from some people. So I thought we'd go a little festive. So that's going to do it for us. Happy Halloween, and hope you guys take care. See ya.